Flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, 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 living. You don't need to wait till you're underground. You need to receive them here and now. Flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers. Hello and welcome to Flowers While You're Living. I'm your host, Cheryl Thomas. And today my guest is Dale Groh, Volunteer Coordinator at DATV. And he's also known as Mr. Big with the community radio station WSWO, Oldies 97.3 FM. Welcome, Dale.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
I'm glad to have you. Okay, let's talk about what inspired you to choose communication.
When I was in third grade, let me back up. There was a program that was done out of Cincinnati called The Bob Braun Show. And it was syndicated all over the Midwest, out of Cincinnati, out of Channel 5. And once a year he would go on tour. He would take the show on the road. And for a week he came to Dayton, Ohio, at what was called the Victory Theater, now known as the Victoria Theater. Right. And Bob Braun and the whole crew were there, and they were doing the show live from the Victoria Theater. Channel 2 was doing all the production, and my mom and I got two free tickets to go see the Bob Braun Show. Got to skip school that day. We went to the Victory Theater, saw the Bob Braun Show, and the very first thing I saw was one of those old giant tube television cameras with the WDTN logo on the side of it. And it kind of reminded me of the scene out of SCTV where John Candy is the movie director and he's sitting on the sidewalk, and all he wants for Christmas is that jib shot, that long crane. And when he saw the camera, it was like angels were singing and all of that. Okay. That's what it was for me. When I saw that camera and I saw the cameras moving around on the stage in third grade, that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Okay, so now what about in school? You went to Northridge, correct?
Went to Northridge, started in Grafton Kennedy, and then I went to Esther Dennis Middle School, which is no longer there. That's replaced with the K through 12 now. And in Northridge High School, which is just a couple of miles up the road from where we're at here at the studios at DATV, they had a radio station. And a friend of mine named James Butler, or J.R. Butler, as he was referred to, introduced me to the radio station. And William Howell, Mr. Howell, was the teacher, the instructor. And it was a small studio. There was a classroom. You had the live studio where they played music. You had a production studio for PSAs. And then you had a newsroom where they did the news out of. And when I saw that, it finally gave me something to attach myself in school, because I never played sports. Okay. Didn't play sports, didn't join science club, didn't join honor society. My grades were never good enough to get on the board in school or anything like that. Okay. But when I got into the radio station, I kind of opened up a little bit more and found something I could attach myself to and learn from, at least for those 3 or 4 years that I was at Northridge High School. And it was a student-operated radio station and controlled by the Board of Education. We were only on the air from 8 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. Okay. And each student got to play different types of music. The only thing we couldn't play was rock or pop because all the kids were in school. They played that at lunchtime. Okay. And I got to play music. What I started with was Christian music. Okay. Contemporary Christian music. And played that, and I had that show every day when I first started out. Okay. So being in school and on the radio station, did it lead to other projects? And if so, what were some of those projects? I eventually became the promotions director for the radio station. Okay. And as the promotions director, it was my responsibility to get the radio station out there to let people know we exist. And I would do that by arranging ticket giveaways with various events. I started a series of projects with Harrah Arena, which unfortunately is no longer there in Trotwood, Ohio, where they had the world's toughest rodeo, and I'd get tickets to the rodeo to give away, or monster trucks, or wrestling matches, or basketball games when Wright State opened up the Nutter Center back in the 90s. And I would give away these tickets on the air, and in exchange, we get to hang the radio station's banner up in the arena.
Okay.
One time we got like 300 tickets to the Shrine Circus.
Wow.
And for the whole weekend, our radio station banner was up in UD Arena. Little things like that to try to put our name out there a little bit.
Right, right. Well, I wish that I had known you back then. Maybe I could have got some free tickets.
Yes. But that wasn't all. That wasn't all we did.
Okay.
I had aspirations to be like a promoter too.
Okay.
And what we did is I arranged for, there used to be the Golden Gloves amateur boxing tournament every year at the convention center.
Right.
And then they had various tournaments throughout the year. I was able to work with the promotion to bring the boxing tournament into the high school gym as a fundraiser for the high school radio station.
Okay.
We brought the ring in, the officials. We had like 18 boxing matches throughout the evening. Wow. We packed the gym. I arranged for the local radio station, Magic 104, to bring their giant boombox on wheels outside the gymnasium to get people that were passing by to stop and come in and check out the show. And that took me about 2 years to try to put together. And I worked with the, I can't remember, I think it was Honor Society. They went and got the sponsors, and we split the money between the two groups, the nonprofit radio station and Honor Society.
Okay, okay. Now, all that
No,
sounds...
forgive me, Student Council is what it was.
Student Council.
Yes.
Okay. Because all that sounds interesting, even at a young age, that you found your niche.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, you wasn't good at sports and things, and you was probably more of a loner.
I was.
But you found something that you enjoyed doing, and it has brought you all the way to where you are now. So I got a question to ask you. Do you have any kids?
2 that I know of.
Okay. 2 that you know of.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I was able to introduce Maggie and Ben. Maggie's my 21-year-old, Ben's my 17-year-old.
Okay.
Ben's been in a couple of short movies. Maggie was in a couple of short movies. She was also in a couple of commercials.
Okay.
She's been on some poster advertisements for the outdoor adventures that go on with Metro Parks. So, I mean, it wasn't their, I introduced it to them to see if it's something that they really enjoyed. And they enjoyed it, but it wasn't their thing.
Okay.
So they're kind of finding their own way, and I'm really proud of that. My daughter works at Grandview Hospital in dietary, and my son is going into his senior year next year at Chaminade Julienne.
Okay, that's great. That is great. Well, you sound like you got some good kids.
So I'm proud
there.
of them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now as you've gotten older and with the radio station that you're at now, what is your genre of music? You play the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
And beyond.
And beyond.
The 50s, 60s, and 70s. We don't stick with one genre necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of what we play is the old school rock and roll. Everything from Jerry Lee Lewis right on up to the Everly Brothers.
Okay.
But we also been known to play stuff like by Johnny Cash, Kenny Price.
Okay.
Charlie Rich, some of the country stars. We have a segment on Saturday afternoons called the Country Crossover Cafe, where you have artists that were big on both the pop charts and the country charts. You know, artists like Anne Murray and Conway Twitty, who actually started as a rock and roll artist before he became a country music icon. And then we have Chris Poole, who hosts Funky Fridays, where they have soul, R&B, as well as the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Now, when I said and beyond, that doesn't necessarily mean we play the 80s. There might be an artist from the 50s or 60s that played music, and they've released a new record, but no other radio station is going to play them. So we'll play that record. So that kind of fits in that category of beyond, when we say 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond on Oldies 97.3.
Okay. But what made you pick Oldies? I mean,
It's the only community radio station in the area.
okay.
You know, and don't, WYSO listeners, don't get me wrong when I say that, but when I say community, we're a volunteer radio station. All the DJs are volunteer, bookkeepers volunteer, everyone's volunteer. Radio is getting away from live DJs. If you go to iHeartRadio, Cumulus Media, wherever you want to go, you can't find local on-air DJs anymore. It's all syndicated from another city, somewhere in Atlanta or Baltimore, and then it's sent to Dayton, Ohio, to make it sound like a local talent.
Okay.
We are the only local live DJs you'll hear on the radio. We'll give you the weather, we'll give you the news, we'll tell you what's going on in the community calendar. We're actually there to take requests, unlike other radio stations. So that meant a lot to me, and it's a grassroots organization. And our frequency, 97.3 FM, was the same frequency that I had when I was at the high school radio station,
Okay.
which was also 97.3.
Okay.
So it's like I came full circle.
Right, right. Okay, okay. So now at the radio station, can anyone have their own show? Can they have, like, say, a church service? Or
Yes.
can they have a talk show or even do PSAs?
They can do PSAs. They can also, we have blocks of time on Sunday mornings for spiritual oriented programming. We can't do talk shows. We stay away from politics.
Okay.
No politics is allowed on the air because we're a community radio station. We stay unbiased in that. But you can come in and learn the board and our library of music and how to become an on-air talent, an on-air personality at Oldies 97.3.
Okay. So anybody can come in and join.
I don't want to say anybody. You have to have a real passion for it. When you
Okay.
come in, you got to tell them, well, why do you want to be at Oldies 97.3?
Right.
Who's your favorite talent at Oldies 97.3? You know, so you got to have some knowledge of what you want to do and something
Right.
about the radio station.
Exactly, exactly. So what are your weekly specialty programs?
We have Swinging Down the Lane with David Miller, a program produced out of Topeka, Kansas, where he is a author and record collector, and he plays swing music. And that program is heard Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. until 9 a.m.
Okay.
Then we have the Doo-Wop Stop with Cool Bobby B. That's another syndicated program. That program airs also on Saturday mornings from 7 until 8. And then we have the only locally produced big band show from 9 until 11 on Saturday mornings.
Okay.
And then we broadcast Wayne High School football. Since we primarily serve the Huber Heights area,
Okay.
we have Wayne High School football, Wayne High School basketball. We have, as I said, Funky Fridays. We have the Dayton Scene radio show, where it gives the history of the funk genre. That's on Sunday nights at 11. So we have Alpha and Omega Ministries that airs every Sunday morning.
Okay.
And we've had that one for a long, long time. In addition to all the other programs, our DJs are like Jerry Hallis. We have Dr. Rock on Tuesday mornings, JC, Gary Quinn, myself, Joey B.
Okay.
You know, we're all there playing the music and also taking requests.
Okay. Well, that's great because you get a chance to even, I guess, talk to the audience, so to
Yeah.
speak, you know, to find out what it is they want to hear
Right.
and things like that, which is
And we have listeners all over the world that listen to us online.
okay.
We have
okay.
something called clock radio in the studio that allows us to pinpoint through the IP addresses of the computers where people are listening to us.
Oh,
We've been in Chile, we've been in Mexico, the Ukraine, All over the world, people find us. Our genre and our programming is so unique, it's easy to find us on the internet at DaytonOldies.org, where we stream our programming. And, people all over the world will email us.
Okay.
Hey, I'm listening to you from Kansas City, Missouri. And they'll email request in.
Okay. So is that the online streaming that you all
yes,
do?
DaytonOldies.org. And also our mobile app is available. We're on the TuneIn app, Alexa, all these different devices. And you don't need for me to explain to you people at home how to set those. You know more about setting those up than I do. I just know where they're available on there.
Right. So now you do a lot of your show on radio station.
Friday nights from 6 p to 9 p.
Okay. So now, do you go remote and do your radio station?
Yes, we have live remotes that we do. We do live remotes at the Spooktacular Car Show. At I'm trying to remember the name of the church. It's a church in Huber Heights.
Okay.
We're also at the Jewish Cultural Festival. We're at the Star Spangled Heights Car Show on July the 1st. We're all over the community. Now, when the pandemic was going on, I did the show from home.
Okay.
We were able to tap into our station playlist software, and I could go and talk on the radio, record my little segments like 10 minutes ahead of time. So I was quasi-live.
Okay.
So I would, give the time, give the temperature 10 minutes from now, record it, put it in there, and I introduce the song, and it would play back a few minutes later.
Okay.
Or sometimes if I'm going to be out of town, I would record the show in advance.
Okay.
I don't like doing that. I like doing it live because then you're feeling the music, you're experiencing the music. If there's a song I really like, I turn it up in the studio, and if I really like it, I can convey that to the listeners right away.
Okay, and that's great. So let's talk a little bit about you and DATV.
Okay.
Because you're the volunteer coordinator. And what exactly is that?
I have no clue. No, I started out as a production assistant.
Okay.
And let me jump back. I started off as a volunteer back in 1992. For 2 years, I was a volunteer producer here at DATV, an independent producer. And that means, like you, like our director Robert and others, I would come in and produce my own television shows. Still do. But 2 years later, while working at Channel 22, I got hired in as a production assistant full-time. And I was in charge of, teaching the classes here at DATV, assisting people as they needed, keeping us on the air. And then I became the volunteer coordinator when Dorothy, our volunteer coordinator, retired. And when she retired, I took over placing students in the classes, assisting them whenever they need help. A lot of us do each other's jobs here at DATV. But my primary responsibility, promoting DATV, getting people signed up in the classes, keeping them involved, and hopefully making their experience as good as possible here.
Right. Now you say classes. What type of classes do you have here?
We have field production, where you can learn to take cameras out on location, record a church service, record a program about your favorite hobby, whatever you want to do. Bring it back, and you can use any one of our 7 computers to edit your program and air it on either DATV or Dayton Spiritual TV. We have a 2,000 square foot television studio that we're in right now. We have 2 podcasting rooms. One is the video lab, where you can go live on Facebook or YouTube. And then we have the audio podcasting room, where you can record your podcast. So there's all kinds of opportunities here at DATV. Plus we're exploring even more to try to expand on that as well.
Right. So now, say a person wants to do a show. How do they go about this? I know they have to come in and learn how to do different things, like take the classes and stuff like that.
Right.
But say I want to do a show. Now, how do I get somebody to help me to do this show?
You let me know. And what I try to do is I come up with a and you've helped us put this together, volunteer hotline list. And I give that list to new producers. They call on those people to say, hey, I'm doing a show. Would you mind helping out? And then in exchange, that person helps one of them on their show. You know, try to create a network, a brotherhood, a sisterhood of members to try to help each other out here at DATV.
Right, and that's what we do here. We do help out others, and I enjoy it. People that I've, you know, never had any interaction with before, and then all of a sudden they'll call me and say, well, hey, can you help me with this show?
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, I'll help you, you know,
Yeah.
not a problem. And it's fun. So now tell me about the festivals and things that we do.
Well, we cover summer festivals every year. This year, we're going to be taking our production truck and cameras out to places like the West Dayton Block Party, the big band concerts at Riverscape, Blues Festival, Porch Fest. We're going to do Porch Fest this year for the first time. All kinds of events.
So now if I want to do that with you, go to the festivals and run the cameras or to direct, how do I go about doing that?
Two ways. You can either come into DATV and you could sign up on our list that we have in the volunteer lounge. And we also just started using Sign Up Mobile, where you can go online with our e-news and simply just click on the festival you want to be a part of, type in your name, and you're ready to go.
Okay.
I don't know, how much time do we have here? I don't know how much time we have, but I wanted to kind of get into a little bit about how I got involved with DATV.
Oh, you got time, go ahead.
Okay. I was downtown. Actually, I was working at Miami Valley Hospital full-time after high school. And a friend of mine took some classes at another public access center, and he brought in some books. I was telling him about what I wanted to do, and he brought in some books and some of the training material, and I thought it was really cool, but I still didn't have a contact. I was downtown at Courthouse Square. Steve Ross and Dan Cefaletto. Dan no longer works here at DATV. Steve is our operations manager here. They happened to be down there for nonprofit day, so nonprofits could set up on Courthouse Square and promote what they do. I ran into them, asked them some questions. They told me a little bit about it. I got in my car, drove straight here, met Dorothy, who was then the volunteer coordinator, and signed up right away. I wasn't waiting.
Okay.
And my job at Miami Valley Hospital was full-time. I was what they call a scope tech, or they like to call me the scope slave. I worked in endoscopy,
Okay.
cleaning the scopes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was doing that full-time, coming here part-time as a volunteer. That led to me being able to get some part-time work at Channel 22. But I was only working 2 hours a day.
Okay.
So I worked from 5 a.m. until 7 a.m. at Channel 22, then leave, go to work at the hospital from 7 to 3:30, or no, from 8 to 4:30. Then that opened up the doors eventually for me to come over here to DATV full time and get away from having to do all the hospital work.
Okay. Okay. But you wanted to follow your passion,
I wasn't letting go of it.
which you did in high school, where you found your niche,
Yeah.
you know, and like you say, it went full circle.
I think they were almost giving me jobs at these TV stations just to get me off their back, because I was sending resumes every other week.
Okay.
I mean, I was really banging on doors, kicking on doors, screaming, because I was trying to get in. My wife was like, "Are you serious, Dale?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was excited when I got that first job, even though it was only 2 hours a day.
Right.
Because my foot was in the door.
Right.
And my experience here led to that, led me to going to work at Channel 16, led me to do some work at ESPN, Fox Sports, the Nashville Network, all these different networks.
Okay.
You never know how far you can go unless you push yourself.
Right.
I'm not one that likes to sit back and I mean, we all like to be comfortable in our position sometimes, but if you don't push yourself outside that bubble, how are you bettering yourself?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So let me ask you this. You said something about the other TV stations, things like that. do you enjoy being, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Sure, please.
Do you enjoy being here at DATV where you have, where you can do so much more with your talent versus the other TV stations? Like they might give you one job to do and boom, that's it. But here you can pretty much do everything, because I can come to you and say, hey Dale, I need somebody to show me how to do this editing, or I need you to do this. It's not that you're just a volunteer coordinator, you do everything. So do you enjoy just helping people?
Much more than I loved working in news. I didn't enjoy working in news. I don't want to be an ambulance chaser.
Okay.
You know, I don't watch news anymore. I don't want to spend my evening as soon as I get home from work spending 90 minutes listening to someone in a suit and tie tell me how bad things are in the world.
Right.
And I didn't want to be a part of that either.
Okay.
Being here, I'm working with people that are making a difference in the community in a more positive way.
Right. Right.
Whether it's Flowers While You're Living, whether it's, you know, the golf tips, whatever.
Right.
It's programming that's making a difference and pushing things in a better direction.
Okay. So now, would you give the people out there your how to contact you, your website, email, or whatever you have?
Sure. It's Dale at DATV.org, and you can also visit our website, DATV.org. You can listen to us or listen to me Friday nights on WSWO Oldies 97.3 from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. And you can call us there in the studio as well. Don't know the number off the top of my head, but all you gotta do is go to DaytonOldies.org and you can listen to our programming. And if you're a nonprofit organization, you could submit information about your upcoming events on the community calendar right there.
Okay. Okay. Well, Dale, I want to thank you for being on Flowers While You're Living.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
And the title, Flowers While You're Living, is just that. I want to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
While you're living.
I will not tell the missus.
Okay. But I want you to have those because I think you deserve those. You're the type of person here that inspires me to come in.
Thank you.
You know, because you'll call and say, Cheryl, I need, and before you can finish, I'll say, okay, what time, what day, and things like that.
Or sometimes I'll call and you'll go, okay, Dale.
Right, right, right.
What is it?
Yes, yes, yes. So I want to thank you for watching Flowers While You're Living, and I want to leave you with this one thought. Don't prey on the problem, prey on the solution. Thank you. Till next time.
Flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living, living. Flowers while you're living, flowers while you're living.